Hello! I'm back playing the game again. I think it's, what is this? Probably episode 6, probably the 6th time I've recorded. It's like, really, ideally, I would just sit down and, like, play the game for hours and hours and hours, like, back to back, and make a lot of progress all at once. But alas, that's not the way my recording setup works at the moment. So we must work with what we have. Continue. Now I don't- oh, here's something. The beginning of the day. Oh my god. The days are getting shorter as well. Okay, so something that I've noticed in reviewing and editing the videos is, actually I can go here. Like, I thought, I don't know, for some reason when we passed this for the first time, I guess because something negative happened, like I got minus health and stuff, so I was thinking, oh, that's a bad thing, I can't go there. But actually, I can technically go there. I will lose health again, but I can go that way. For some reason, I was thinking, like, I was literally, like, physically barred for, like, I'm completely blocked from going that way until I have, something that can, get rid of the bugs, but actually I can go. I'm like, I don't know why I had in my head that, like, there's, like, oh, this is impassable. Or I was thinking, here's the 2 things that I could do. 3 things. Gotta learn to count. Here's the 3 things I could do. I could go this way, I could go this way, or I could go back into this gate and try and go on that other path. Remember there was a path, like some other path through the woods. Also today, it's muddy, so everywhere is going to take me longer to get to. They also said last time that the days are getting shorter. So I guess my thinking is, how soon are they going to get short? Because I have that fish thing that I have to do before day 20. So I really do need to explore up this way. And so far there's nowhere else I can sleep. This is the closest place to all of this that I can sleep. I'm just thinking, before the days get super short, should I travel as far as possible? You know what I mean? Because if the days are getting shorter and the places that I have to sleep are all really fucking far away, then I need to make the most of longer days since I can't travel at night. I need to go on my lengthy journeys while I still can. Unless, like, I uncover, like, an inn somewhere up here. I feel like there has to be somewhere else to sleep. Let me double check my journal. Quote. See, look, there's quotes on this. I brought back the medicament, because I wasn't sure what it was. Maybe I should check back with that guy. And he'll be like, my daughter exploded when I gave her the potion you gave me. The scavenger. I still thought there's some sort of connection between the scavenger and the old Roadwarden, but maybe not. I don't know how do you finish spying? Because, I mean, I'm sure everywhere I travel, I'm going to collect some information. When have I collected enough information to complete this? I haven't even been to any of these places, so I guess it's kind of up north? I really just need to go north. I need to go north while the days are long. Today's a bad day because it's muddy, but maybe I can get somewhere and back in time and do something, at least. So, here's my thinking. I need to travel up this way, and I also need to travel up this way, because I need to explore the north. I think, because it's muddy today, so everything's gonna take longer, I'm gonna go this way. Because this place and this place are farther away from here. Whereas if I go up this way, I at least have this closer to me. Whereas if I started going up this way, I don't know if I could make it all the way back around to here in time. And maybe these paths eventually meet, so like if I went this way, I could get here, and then I could just go like this, and maybe it would work out, but I don't know that for sure, so I'm going to err on the safe side and just try and go a safe way. Not too a safe way, because I don't think they have those in this world. The grocery store. Safeway is a grocery store. I find that interesting that there's regional grocery stores. Like, there are some grocery store chains that exist in parts of the US that don't exist in other parts of the US. Because I've moved around a lot, so sometimes I'll move places and I'll be like, I've never heard of the, they're like, oh yeah, you want to go down to Bingley's Emporium? And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, Bingley's Emporium, everyone knows about it. And it's like, I've never heard of it in my life, but it just is totally dependent on the area you live in. And then there's some things that, like, exist on the East Coast but not the West Coast, or vice versa, or whatever. It's very interesting. Anyway, so I already talked to people in the morning, right? I already got breakfast, I already talked to the man, I did all the preparations that I need to do, so I think I can just start my day. What happens if I say this? I have a job for your crew. Because I don't even remember what am I talking about? Where are the where are some ruins with goblins in it? I don't even remember that. And also this makes it feel like I'm hiring them. Like I don't want to pay them to take care of it. Am I just giving them a suggestion? Like, hey, if you guys want something to do with your free time, guess what? There's a thing you can do, but like, I'm not gonna pay them to do anything. I don't even have enough money to feed and clothe and bathe myself. I'm not gonna give money to other people. I might have a job for your crew. There are some goblins in the nearby ruins that pose a danger on the road. What was her voice? This same generic narrator voice, but like a little bit happier and perkier sort of, right? Well, as long as it involves someone paying for it, I'm ready to listen. What do you know about the pack? Without interruptions, you tell as much as you can. Well, getting rid of them will do the trick, sure, but as long as those buildings aren't razed to the ground, new beasts will move in sooner or later. Though I'm not one to stop you from reaching into your pouch. A brief smile quirks her lips. You need to take care of some things first. Hunters or not, we won't raid a lair blindly. Oh, are they talking about the village? That place. I guess I don't think about it as ruins, even though it is village ruins. I just think about it as like the abandoned village. But like when I think of ruins, I think of like an old stone building that's like crumbling, like an ancient monastery or something. So they mean the goblins in the village, probably. Okay. What do you want me to do? She lists your tasks one by one, in the meantime bending forward to brush the boar. Well, make sure you've looked around the entire village. My crew will get mad if it turns out that yet another lair is just behind the corner. Then, be sure there's no soul around. When we fight, we don't do rescue jobs, and if we do, they cost a lot. The boar grunts and turns around, leading her to its other side. Speaking of which, for you it's going to be... She squints her eyes a bit. 10 coins. But we'll take some of the loot we find. We won't let go of magic swords and rings just because. Not that I expect any. She straightens up. But who knows? Oh, so I'm like hiring all of us to go together to the abandoned ruins? No, I don't have the money for that. I mean, maybe that's a good thing to do on a muddy day. We can't travel that far anyway. But that would take like all of my, like literally about all of my coins. Like, I don't want to spend all my coins. We'll return to it later. Alright, we're gonna go all the way here. I have to face those beep bugs again. For most of the time, you're surrounded by yellow meadows. The trees on your left get sparser, while the few lonely birches on your right still bear the signs of tapping, marked with knife cuts and tied with cords. Some of them still carry wooden vessels as if they were simply abandoned, maybe last spring or maybe before that. A few of the trees are already dried out, and the winds managed to knock them down. As you get closer to the crossroads, the ground gets muddy. The beaten path avoids the wetlands as much as it can. The screeches and hisses mix with the buzzing of insects, and as you reach a small pond, there are signs of blood on its bank. The air is moist and heavy, and has a hint of rotting meat to it. Might still be early, but it's better to avoid the bogs when nighttime approaches. Such places rarely have fine roads. Well, I hope I'm not here at nighttime. Am I right, fellas? Bogs are darker than forest. Oh, fucking bong! I don't know what that... Is that a well-known curse? Oh, fucking bong! I think I was gonna say, like, bing bong or something. Oh, bong! So bogs are darker than forests, and the creatures will start their hunt an hour earlier. So I need to be home, or at least out of the bog, sooner. What am I going north for? Why is it so hard? See, like, right now, let me look. Right now! Like, here. I don't know, it might take me 2 or 3. I should not have less than 4 hours left to get home, probably. I should give myself 4 hours just in case. The trees and bushes are sparse here, growing from the barren grassland. Some of them bear late summer fruits. A group of wayfarers is spread around the broken signpost in the abandoned cart. They're skinny but healthy and are standing upright. They're wearing humble, dim gambesons on top of their hemp tunics and pants, all of them worn, in some cases undyed, and others dark green or brown. 4 of these individuals wear cloaks and are armed with spears, bows, and stone maces. On their necks, wrists, and belts you spot small talismans, fangs, bones, wooden beads, and leather straps. There's also the 5th figure, standing a bit in the back with lowered shoulders. Unlike the others, they're hooded, and in such a manner that you doubt they can see anything other than their boots. But your eyes mostly run to their club, a bow as long as its owner is tall and as thick as a leg, resting with one end on the ground. You get closer and the person raises their weapon with just one arm, but another traveller gestures for them to stop, and they do so right away, freezing in place. I'm staying in my saddle. The man behind the gesture doesn't approach you, he just nods. Safe travels, stranger. It may be still time before the evenfall, but bogs aren't safe. Better keep moving, you'll find an inn. He tried to digest his... I didn't do a thick accent. He tried to digest his thick accent. He's broad-shouldered and with a large belly, but the scars on his face sculpt an image of someone who earned their share of food with many skirmishes. He doesn't reach for his weapon and pushes one of his companions closer to the cart. She kneels by an empty box and looks inside it. The man observes you with little curiosity. Well, he doesn't give a fart that I'm here, so, like... I know the cart, need any help? Nice place for a camp. The air's a bit smelly, though. Greetings. It's so fucking annoying. Is there anybody who chooses these options, like not role-playing somebody that is ironically obnoxious, but, like, just genuinely? I'm just glad you're not highwaymen. I thought I was gonna get killed. I don't think they seem like they need my help. Is that true? Is that true? My boy has showed up. He's here. I want to see my little boy. I feel like maybe I should just do greetings and be on my way. With little curiosity. Like, that to me implies they don't really care that I'm here. If they needed help, they'd be like, oh, stranger, bing bong, billy woo, wah wah wah, you know. I order their card. Need any help? He makes an annoyed grimace. I remember his voice now, and I just did it 30 seconds ago. Not really. Timber's sickening, mouldy and wet. We're checking on the place, but it seems a bad year for it. He looks at his companions, who simply shrug and spread to take a look at the card. All of them but the one with the bow, who doesn't move an inch. I don't have time to loaf. If you've got questions, ask, but be quick. Don't put us to sleep. Are you from around here? Very much so. And are you new to these roads? You know our home? Maybe. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Why would you ask me to do that? You put me on the spot. I don't know. Cheese Town. No clue. Oh, marshes. Yeah, because we're around some bogs. Okay, that makes sense. I was thinking there's like multiple towns I haven't been to before. I'm not really sure which one we would be closer to. White Marshes. It's there. He looks at the crossroad leading east. An old place. Plenty of stories there. But they rarely reach the ears of strangers, especially these days. How can I reach White Marshes? It's not so hard if you have bones of food with you. Ride down the road, turn left, and take a gift to Thrisis, the warden of our peat fields. He'll open the creepers for you. Seeing your look, he carries on. They're on the right path, one that'll take you to the village. Anything dangerous between here and there? Water hides saurians, so don't let your horse drink. Just stay on the road all the time. One of the women chips in. And don't follow weird voices or lights. Weird beasts lure humans to death. And don't touch the creepers. Oh wait, I wanted to ask about what they're using peat for. Why don't I get to do that option too? Tell me about your village. That sounded weirdly snooty. Tell me about your village. Whoa. It's home. He starts to play with his spear. As much a home as the bogs can be. Beasts are smaller here than in the woods. But what is a real threat? Can I ask all three of these things or only one? Because last time I had multiple options and I could only ask one thing. So I'm gonna save, just in case. Is it rough living in the wetlands? Not as rough as living with robbers on the one side and that fake smiling rat that leads howlers on the other, he says to the delight of his group. You look at him, but he says nothing more. He then stretches out and gets closer to the signpost, using his spear as a walking stick. Well, stay safe, stranger. He raises his voice and addresses his companions. Wasted too much time on this froth. It's time to get back. The others prepare their own weapons and join their guide. The one with the bow stays silent until a gentle gesture commands them to follow. They keep up with the rest of the group, dragging their club behind with remarkable strength. I kind of wanted to see, like, does this mean that there were, like, other dialogue options that could have led to me going somewhere with them or something? I just don't want to miss out on anything that could be, like, important or useful or helpful, or, because, like, I have, like, no coins and, like, nothing, and, like, I'm destitute. I feel like feel like any opportunity that could lead me to something interesting I should take just for the sake of like, well, maybe I could get something out of this, like a special item or something. Also, I know they said be quick, but I want to know everything. I love details and information. I wish I could get all the information. I could spend a few minutes foraging for wild plants. Should I do that in the bogs? Most of what you find are large apples, not as sour as the wild ones, and some wild strawberries. Picking them takes little effort. The short meadow hides nothing more dangerous than rats, rabbits, mice, and grasshoppers. And with the help of your mount, you can reach the higher branches. I pack them into nets and bags. Farts, what did he say? How do I get to the place? Wow, 3 hours and 15 minutes just to get back there. Oh yeah, that's why I have this. Archive. Food right down the road, turn left. They're on the right path. The one that'll take you to the village. If I'm standing here looking forward, then the right path would be this one. Which again, like I mentioned before, I'm really good at rotating things in my mind. Like, I'm good at conceptualizing 3D spaces. I have good spatial intelligence. Like, I know where stuff is. But for some reason, when it's in games, I have so much trouble. I don't know why I can't navigate in games. It's like, I don't know. It's like I lose all sense of direction. Something about it not being in real life, like being 2D on the screen or something. Like, you should see me play Skyrim. Sometimes there were certain places, like certain like Dwemer ruins and stuff, that like I would be there for like 6 hours in like one spot. Which part of that is because I'm a completionist freak. Like, I want every single detail. Every single thing, corner to corner, no stone unturned. If I'm in a location in a video game, I'm gonna go into every crevice. I'm gonna go into every place that looks like I can't even get there, but I'm gonna try and jump there anyway and see if I can. I'm gonna find every single item, get every single mystery, whatever, like... Part of it is my thoroughness and attention to detail, and the fact that I typically have a slow, methodical, thoughtful style of gameplay, not even just with things like this, but just like all the time. Even if it's not a text-adventure game, even if it were like an action game or something, I'm still gonna like pause every 5 minutes and go, let me think about it, you know, like, so part of it is me being thorough, but also just the fact that I suck at navigation. I would get turned around, I would go back over the same spot 37 times. So anyway, I think I have to have a gift to some dude, so that might not work. I wanted to learn why they care about Pete. I wish I could have asked that question. I'll go here. And hopefully not face too much issue. You're not used to the scents of the bogs, but you weren't expecting them to be so gentle. The humid air makes you think of smoked meat, and even though you ride by a few rotting carcasses and animal droppings, just as often you cross tiny meadows of pink, yellow, and red flowers. The noises tell stories of never-ending wars between the swarms of insects, frogs in their hideouts, snakes lurking among the purple grasses, birds patrolling the water and the sky, and the saurians preparing to strike from beneath the surface. You can't separate the sounds of the living and those who are dying, if they even are different. You reach a boulder in the middle of the road on the edge of a large pond. The road splits from here in 2 directions, but the only smoke you see is to the southeast. Okay. I see no creature standing in my way. Farts! What the fuck is southeast? Is it my southeast or the map southeast? Or wait, what? This is south and this is east. So can I go this way? There's not an option. Where is he? Where's Thistle? If I'm standing here and I'm like facing this way, I'm gonna face that way. I'm putting my hands out as if they're the things. I'm gonna get lost and I'm gonna get trapped outside at night with the beasts of the bog. Like, what the fuck is southeast out of these 2 options? This is east and this is south. I mean, am I just an idiot? Is this the boulder? Or maybe, so if I look at it this way, if I'm right here, then this is just straight up south, and this is southeast. So maybe this little image is the same thing as this. So then this would be the northeast, and this would be southeast, and this would be just straight up south. Is this southeast? Probably not. I'm gonna die. The road takes you to the edge of the woods. A few trees have found lucky scraps of soil towering above the water, while the others, shorter and not as lush, have roots sunk into the pond. Some of the plants were felled with tools, so the route itself isn't so dark. While the few sunbeams getting through the weaker branches on your left are surrounded by darkness and swarms of insects. Help me, help! The sudden cry. What is that, like a person from the south? Help me, y'all, help! The sudden cry, as well as screams of pain, reaches you from behind the trees. A woman or child. Oh my god. Not to make him sound like a sociopath on Maine or whatever, but he doesn't give a shit about... He just doesn't want to get into it. He just wants to make him leave. Try to spot somebody first. Don't just straight up get off your horse. Maybe a trap, and even if it's not, I can't help it. Yeah, like, what can I do? I think he should look around, see his surroundings, see if he sees somebody, and if he doesn't, or if it looks a little suspicious, then he should just ride on. I tried to spot anyone. Among the green and red leaves, you don't see any unusual colours. Come to think of it, there's but a few creatures in sight, other than the flies and mosquitoes. The dark-winged birds are quiet, and the sparse toads let out sporadic tense croaks. The only thing is, could this be somebody who could help me later? Like, what if I don't do this, and then, like, I miss out on something really cool? I'm gonna save here. I'm gonna see what this is, but I feel like he would do this. So this is just an experiment. I'm not actually going to have this be what happens. You lean toward the pond. It's cleaner than the other parts of the bog, allowing you to see the bottom. Parts of it are still more than knee-deep, and the sulphuric odor makes you step away with a frown. Brownish color can't hide all the bones and plant remains sticking out of the bed. No time to waste. I rush into the water. Oh god. You get slow with every step as your pants and boots are soaked in water and mud. The cold water makes you shiver, and the sulphuric odor makes you glance at the animal bones sticking out of the pond bed. The voice doesn't stop. You gather your bravery and move forward, disturbing the sediment so much that it forms a cloud of mud after every step you run into the trees. Observe the tree crowns. Move deeper in, but your clothes turn every step into a struggle. You don't spot anything peculiar among the branches until your eyes land on an unusual grey bird, which seems to open its beak just at the same time as you hear a painful shout. A dark shape is descending towards you from the very same tree. Examine it. You glance at the dark, spotted creature that now lands on your chest. You plunge into the water, getting pinned down to the mud by its massive paws. You're choking, hearing only splashes. I need to get... Uh-oh. The cat's legs are... Oh, it's a cat! The cat's legs are bent, ready to jump, wide and muscular. Its eyes staring at you without a blink, are round and yellow, with pitch black irises in the center. Its waist high, with its chin hanging just above the water, and a jaw that could bite off your limb in a heartbeat. It has short hair and whiskers, and a nose as big as your hand. Even without the dirt, it's almost black, with glimpses of yellow that form a rose-like pattern on its side and dots on its head. You can't see the creature's paws through the now clouded water. The cat lets out a growl like a saw cutting a log. It's unscathed, confident. I think that was a bird, dude. I'm just gonna choose the stupidest option. I want to see if I can get him killed. Because I'm not This is just an experiment. I'm not keeping this as the choice that I made, because he would not do this. Screams have disappeared, and you notice the sudden noise of flapping wings coming straight at you. You instinctively take a swing. The blade sends the halves of the raven-sized creature into the water, to the enjoyment of local scavengers. A few grey and red feathers are drifting next to you. I raise the axe and look at the cat. The cat roars towards its dead companion, then looks into your eyes. As it moves forward, you don't see any wounds on its shell. Well, no, hold on. This is as stupid as possible. I'm trying to make the worst choices. You can't strike a cat, man. They already told you that. The druid said that, right? Just if you can run away from a cat, run away from it, because you're not going to last in a fight with it. Can I get my dude killed? I try to stay safe, looking for an opportunity to make a strike. You do your best to evade the cat's attack, then to strike it as it charges at you. You somehow avoid its claws and teeth, and your old axe cuts the beast's shoulder slightly. I get away from it quickly. Playing for time, you keep your distance and duck as the beast jumps at you. So far, your reflex is beyond reproach. After a few breaths, the cat prepares itself for another pounce. You do your best to evade the cat's attack, then to strike as it charges at you, but your attempt fails. Even though you also land a hit, the beast manages to reach your stomach with its claws, slashing through your armor, while your old axe cuts the beast's shoulder slightly. Your gambeson keeps you in one piece. Prepare for the explosion. The cat observes you with new respect, surprised you are still standing. It looks at its dead companion, and without a second thought, leaps away, then partially swims, crossing the pond with a speed matching your palfrey's gallop. You consider following it, but after it reaches a tree crown with just 2 jumps, then gets to another one with a single breath, you wipe your forehead and turn away. Gasping, wet, and frustrated, you hobble back on the beaten path. Scrambled Egg seems worried, and you try to ease its soul with a few encouraging words, hoping he will leave it Hoping it will leave you alone for a minute. You consider washing your clothes, but you need a wash tub for it, if not a stream. You put on as many dry clothes as you can find, hoping your wet boots won't give you a cold. Surprisingly, I didn't lose vitality. I just lost all of my armor and I look like shit. Alright, let's go back. He would never ever do that. He does not give a crap. Cause like I said, he's not like a savior type person. He... Maybe a trap, and if it's not, I can't help them. Scrambled Egg seems to agree with your decision. It enters a trot, leading you further east. A minute passes, but you still hear the constant shouts, as if someone's getting whipped to their very bones. Yeah, does not matter to me. Well, now what the fuck am I doing? What way am I going? 4 hours to get there, and I have 6 hours and 30 minutes. Better reach somewhere soon, or I'm gonna be stuck out in this place. No, I'm just going deeper into the fucking woods. You ride along shallow waters on one side and flooded trees on the other. You reach what seems like the end of the road. The turn south is already overgrown, most likely abandoned after it was devoured by the bog. But as you look north, you see a wide clearing that with time has become a meadow, and a lonely hut at the end of an often-travelled path. At first, you ride down slightly, following the twisty trail. Your palfrey takes slow steps forward, fighting with the dense mud left by recent rain. There's plenty of puddles around, as well as brown, grey, and purple grasses, but all of them are too short for any lurking predators, and the few foxes you see far away don't pay you any attention. You pass by the fresh tracks of heavy-hooved beasts, but spot no wild game in sight. Your ears can't free themselves from the birds, rodents, and dragonflies. We need to ride carefully. If Scrambled Egg's leg sinks into the mud, it may get broken. I don't want my horse to break its leg. I'm gonna save again, just cause, like, I wonder if I should just turn around and go to Howler's Dell. Like, I feel like I'm getting lost in the woods right before nighttime, and I'm gonna get trapped out here. Oh, I found some. Can I sleep here? Probably not. The further north you ride, the shorter the grass gets. These vast peat fields, broader than 2 or 3 villages placed side by side, are many years old. The turf bricks surrounding the solitary hut are still fresh, drying in the late summer heat. The scent of this area is like that of no bog you've ever encountered. Instead of a sublime aroma of healthy soil, it's intense, sulphury, leaving an almost sour taste on your tongue. The short scarp is dripping with water, like a running sore of the earth, carved with spade and muscle. The house, made of birchwood, dried turf, and a blanket of soil, is a structure you're not too familiar with, but you imagine its interiors are much smaller than what they appear to be. The walls are a few feet thick to keep in the warmth, and such roofs tend to get soggy until they collapse after a decade or so. The only soul in sight is sitting on the bench, stuffing his mouth with fistfuls of green leaves that he takes out of a small basket placed on his knees. I introduced myself, and for now stay in the saddle. Still chewing, he mutters something in response, then shakes his hairy head, swallows, and puts the basket away. He stands up and takes a single step forward, approaching the edge of the scarp. I don't know what a scarp is. His arms are entangled by green creepers, longer than he is tall. They rub against the ground after each step, and judging by the way they occasionally twitch, they're very much alive, even though you can't see where they originate from. Thistle, the Roadwarden. He repeats, this time clearly. How does he know my name? He moves his sealed lips left and right as if he's tasting your name, still not sure if he should swallow it or spit it out. Your face is familiar, but not this. He points at your mount, staring at it for a good minute. His voice is quiet and young, not older than 30. If you were standing next to each other, he'd be almost a head shorter than you, but for now he towers over you. He has sunken cheeks and sloped shoulders, and while his grey woolen robe was never pretty, it's now close to being a rag, and his sandals reveal long toenails. I observe him more closely. His eyes are as brown and dark as the grasses of this very bog. His left earring, made of a tusk and a feather, while the right one is an hourglass made of silver, though broken wing makes it at all times tilted under its own weight. The leather strips on his wrists and ankles hold beads, pieces of amber, old game dice, and tiny skulls of birds and critters. Even more cords are hanging from his neck, some of them so long they reach his stomach. They carry countless amulets, some of them torn, dried, shabby, or fragmented, and you spot among them small boxes made of wood and bone, as well as leather pouches which hide even more secrets. Were you here before? Mayhap I dreamt you in my sleep. His voice and look are absent. If so, I'm Thyrsus. Thyrsus? Thyrsus? Thrysus? Thyrsus. 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 Catharsis! I'm just looking to get some catharsis. If so, I'm Thrysus, the Turf Warden. Is awarding turf difficult? Right off the bat, I respect this guy for his fashion sense. Like, having a bunch of stuff dangling off you is very cool. I'm not being ironic, genuinely. I love character designs that are really busy, where they've got like 47 bracelets or something. Shouldn't you ward your home out of here? The earth beneath it is gonna collapse. Shut the fuck up. Who is like this? Who is like this? What is your damage? Like, what type of problems do you have? Go to therapy. Go to therapy, fist person. I'm between this and this, as usual. Dreamt? He observes you keenly, letting out an approving grunt. No, 'tisn't your shell I saw, but your wandering eyes, hands used to touch beasts more than humans, ass burning from a saddle in cold, sweating nights. 'Twas a man before you here, Asterion, and was as lost as you are. Lost? He makes a dramatic pause. But not unwelcome. Do you know anything about Asterion's whereabouts? He raises his chin. Know what? I may. His amulets rattle after his triumphant announcement, but he then looks at the clouds in the distance. You wait for him to carry on, to no avail. I wait patiently. He nods to himself. I didn't notice it's been so long. Fall's almost here. What do you think of him? He stands with an open mouth, as if he's not sure what you mean by that. I don't? Left me with a heavier pouch, but asked nosy questions, like someone else I know. He gives you a telling look. Where is he, then? Well, not at my place, that's for sure. To prove his point, he raises one of his creepers and opens the door, though from where you're sitting you see mostly the cold fireplace and the darkness behind it. But you do have an idea where I can look for him. Yes, at a monster's lair, most likely. You meet his eyes. No, I kind of want to say every option, because I do kind of like them all. Like, because he's got a weird speaking style, I'm curious how he'd react to all of these. Like, what if I say this? I'm torn between actually this one and this one. What if I try to appeal to his better nature that he doesn't have? I nod. Any monster in particular? He looks away and reaches for one of his bracelets. He asked me for help with Minnie. Was heading for a journey, he said. Needed bogey bombs to scare animals away. You push him a bit, but he doesn't have to think long, as if these questions have been bothering him for the entire season. Weirdest ones were for the harpies, and he wanted ones for sea monsters, but I've no such things. I can't poison the sea. As you think what to make of all of it, he starts to tap his toes, taking a deep breath. There's a huntress living in Pelt of the North. This inn at the southern road. Delit. Asterion said she knows wild beasts like no other soul, so he was prepared for them, anyway. Is he your client, or do you just share a goal? He crosses his arms, making the creepers hit his amulets. Never had a witch or a warlock at home? It's wrong for me to speak for others. I'll take on my pyre a lot of shame and doubt, and I need to be trusted. People claim that he and your tribe were planning something big. Do you deny that? He rolls his eyes, shrugging his arms, and showing his empty palms, yet the nervous twitches of the creepers add little to his innocent demeanour. He and I traded a few times, but I didn't bed with him or offer him mint and stew. He said he may have a job for me in the woods, and I told him I don't need his bones anymore. When asked what he did need, Thyrsus pierces his lips. He gets little snake bites like a Scene Kid XD Raw. When asked what he did need, Thyrsus pierces... Why do I keep saying pierces? When asked what he did need, Thyrsus purses his lips. I want things to change, that's all. I wake up to awoken shells and the fogs and Glossia's robbers threatening my family. All I want is for this cursed land to be normal. His yawn comes out of nowhere, but you then notice his dropped shoulders and heavy eyelids. And yes, that warden told me he's going to take care of it. Thanks. You live here all by yourself? All by yourself? That was a weird inflection. Yes. Warlocking, peddling, guarding turf. My tribe dug out what they can this summer. I just keep dragons away from squashing the bricks. Your eyes turn west, following the man's raised finger, and you indeed notice a distant trail of massive three-fingered footprints, now turned into small puddles. They're as long as your torso, with pointy claws. One of them appears to be broken at its tip. Is this the way to White Marshes? Both the opposite and quite so. You took the left turn, away from the village, but you wouldn't reach it anyway. The path's sealed, and I keep it that way. You ask him to explain, and he raises his hands, waggling his fingers as if he's casting a curse. My green pets keep the troublemakers away. But I can make an exception for a warden, one willing to prove they bring gifts, not troubles. What's the toll? He reaches for his basket and places it on the lower edge of the scarp, crouching right behind it. You look inside. I need to yawn mid-sentence. It's filled with wild leaves, flowers, and berries. Give me enough for a day or so, and I'll bin the vines for a day or so. Hee hee ha ha hoo. What if I read the whole game that way? I have 11 coins, a berry picking hook, troll pish. So I'm just giving him this. Will food ration be fine? Just take a dragon. No, I'll give you anything but a dragon bone, man. These wild fruits and leaves are not much, but I can give you a lot of them. 2 bunches out of my 3 bunches. He purses his lips, toes flinching nervously. Well, that's what you showed me. Don't show me a basket of fruit and leaves and go, give me some fruit and leaves, and then I give you fruit and leaves, and then you're like, ha! You think I can't find those by myself? It's filled with wild leaves, flowers, and berries. Give me enough wild leaves, flowers, and berries for a day or so. Well, I guess, yeah, I don't have flowers and berries. I have fruits and leaves. Sorry, maybe they're not the same thing. You think I can't find those by myself? Fine, go ahead. He mutters with resignation, and you throw enough fruits and leaves to fill up his basket. He snaps his fingers. Done. Let's say I were to help your people with the bandits and got rid of the undead. Would you return the favor? He spares you a yellow grin. That's all, you say? Yes, yes. Save the north, or at least the scrap of it I care about, and I'll follow you into a fog. But how do you avoid wild beasts? It's them who avoid this place. They're afraid of spears, my plants, and poisons. Seeing your frown, he raises his creepers quickly, waving them like a dancer would scarves, yet his arms remain still. They're stronger than muscles, he simply explains. But still, I'm not much of a wanderer. I raise my chin. Did you choose to move to this field, or were you forced to do so? He reaches towards his chest, rubbing a small tusk nervously. One of us surely likes to ask questions, while the other's got work to do. His voice is colder than soil. Is Pete really worth constant overseeing? He looks at the nearby bricks and frowns as if he's seeing them for the first time. Sure, kind of, I think. You ask him to tell you about them, but he admits it's the others who harvest it. I meant to pile it all up into rickles. He points at a small dolmen-shaped structure. But I'm always so busy, he grins. You ask him what turf is good for, and he starts to tap his toes. You can build with it, you can burn it, add it to the soil, and it's great for smoking meat. We used to dig it slowly and barter for stone and timber, but we changed our ways. I found a scrap of land that I think may be cursed, though I'm not sure how to examine it. You're saying the rest of the north isn't cursed? He lets out a chuckle, but seeing how you still wait for his advice, he raises one of his creepers and, looking into the distance, scratches it. I have no cure for that, but ask Eudocia, the witch from the other side of the woods, far east. Mayhaps she has a wand or something. Do you have anything to sell, Warlock? He eagerly smiles and steps away, reaching to the doorknob with his right creeper. Odds and ends? Want to buy a hook? Venturers love those, and I've got it for cheap. He doesn't give you time to respond. On most days, I brew and mix stuff for poisons and medicine, if one's desperate enough to cross the bogs for it. I have one that withers plants, and one that kills worms and bugs, and one that keeps flies away for better health. You pause. You're quite sure you're more than capable of making all the bombs and powders he just mentioned on your own, if only you had an alchemy table at hand. You mention it, and he huffs loudly, already standing in the threshold. You're not touching my tools, Warden, but I may have some roundwort or marsh blues for you, and there are mushrooms in the bogs. Let me take a look, I suppose. Poisonous yellow dust that withers plants, ointment that keeps insects away, jar filled with bug-killing ointment. 3 connected bones meant to be used at grappling. Oh, could I? Well, I could get up that place with that rock, maybe, but my horse still can't get up there. That was the whole problem, right? Is that my horse couldn't get up. I do quite want to get a grappling hook, though. I don't know why, you know, when you see something and you're just like, that seems useful. No, I'll just take note of that for later. I'm really trying to save my money right now until I find... I was hoping at some point I would find a more consistent way to, like, get income. Like, something I can do that... I know, you know, I'm not gonna have a consistent, like, a job I go to every day, but, like... Kinda like how every day I have a small percentage chance of being able to win 2 extra coins from the freaking... playing the coin game with the guards at that place. Like that. Like, I was hoping there would be more little, like, oh, if you do this sometimes. I can work for the city guard in Howlersdale or whatever, but that's so variable. Oh, 10 doinkles? For freaking powdered basalt? He's gonna say no. Oh, Foggy by the northern road? Of course not. He spares you an incredulous glance. What would I do without it? But if you've bones to spare, take them to Foggy by the northern road. She brews hard drinks and may let you play. If I bought this, I would still have 8 coins. And oh, I don't know. I don't have a reason to have it, actually. Alright, so what the beep did he say? Is this how I get to opposite? You took the left turn away from the village. I don't know what that means. So we're currently the opposite way? How the do I go to this one or this one? I don't know. There was the option to go here and the option to go here. Like, I'm facing like this. I'm looking out. This is my field of vision. Boink, boink, then this would be my left hand and this would be my right hand. Took the left turn away from the village, so I should have gone right. Like, so this would be right. The leafless plants resemble tree roots rather than creepers, even though they're dark green and sway up and down slightly in the rhythm of a heartbeat. Scrambled Egg snorts and speeds up, unwilling to linger underneath the nightmarish gate. As you get to the other side, the plants seem to completely ignore you. Knowledge. Oh, there's a mushroom growing behind the creepers, which I could get at some point. Am I gonna get somewhere before fucking nighttime, or what? Road twists between the flooded purplish grasses. The field ahead of you is still green, bearing the second sowing of broad beans, maybe the third one if the land allows it. The workers ignore you. Some of them are nothing but bones. Some carry scraps of flesh, wearing them like forgotten rags, and the others look almost human, as if they were awoken right after death. Most of the witless shells move around piles of soil, carry wooden logs, or dig in the ground with their bare hands, but there are also those with considerable abilities. They use pitchforks, hoes, and splitting axes, and confidently cross the uneven ground. Oh, this is like that place where they use, like, dead people as, like zombie workers or whatever. There's only a few breathing souls in sight. They observe your passing, but keep their distance. They aren't attacking me, so I don't need to be afraid. The people who live here seem to have everything under control. Am I in the right place? Yay, White Marshes! Hope I can sleep here. The guards let you in without questioning. The entrance and the wall in general were recently constructed, though are still not finished, and there will soon be yet another gate, allowing for trade and conversations without opening the village to danger. Just like in the fields, the work is divided between the undead, who carry bricks and take care of the most thankless tasks, while the locals cut rocks and spread mortar. The difficult past is still carved in the villagers' gaunt faces and crude outfits, and their brief glances show little curiosity. A few of them are sharing a meal right next to the well, and the victuals in their baskets consist of green leaves, fruits, eggs, and cuts of roasted meat, the food of foragers. You're told to wait here for the mayor. Don't roam on your own. The guard's voice is harsh, despite the stutter. I turn the scrambled egg at a small shed. A man shows up soon after with a careless saunter, and he hardly spares you a look, instead staring at your palfrey. The stranger from the forest garden. I can't guess why you'd come here. Who are you, even? His stature would be considered average in most villages. I don't know why His stature would be considered average in most villages, but in comparison to the rest of his tribe, he's portly, muscular, tall, and with a large, square face. His hands are resting on the shaft of the poleaxe placed across his shoulders, making him seem even larger. His long, straw-colored beard is shabby and makes his bald head look shiny. You can't really tell how old he is, though you see no wrinkles. Just like the others, he's wearing prominent charms, favoring tiny figurines of animals made of bone and wood. One of them is hanging from his neck, a silver amulet portraying the head of a moose with large antlers. While valuable, it looks older than the other critters and in quite crude form. I introduced myself. Sizes you up. And I'm Helvius. Who let you in? Was it Thyrsus? He's as much a gatekeeper as a fly's a warden to a piece of shit. He gives you a telling frown. I smile. What's your tone, ding dong? He could tell I won't hurt you. I mean, this is kind of how he feels, but... This is also true. He wouldn't badmouth others behind their backs because he just doesn't care enough. You couldn't convince him to gossip because he just... I feel like you have to have some level of social investment to gossip or to care. I kinda want to go with this one, actually. I'm torn between either this or this. I don't know, should I be too goofy? Consider a real social situation if someone looks very unhappy, or I could be like, oh, maybe I doodly doo-doo. I don't think, have I ever used the playful one? I feel like I only ever use friendly or neutral. I'm not one to badmouth others behind their backs. Did I ask? He raises his chin and starts to twist his wrists, spinning his weapon slowly. No city folk will tell us what to think. Take a good look around while you can. White Marshes isn't for fucking strangers. Turf houses are cold, covered with lush grasses and flowers, and you can't imagine any large family fitting inside such small, one-chambered huts. The alleys are so narrow that only one cart could squeeze through them at once. Your boots have sunk into the mud. The square is covered with deep boot prints. The noise of hammers, shouting, wood splitting, and the shuffling of undead legs pierces through the constant buzzing of insects. Scrambled Egg snorts, hunting down flies with its tail. I notice there's only one elder in sight, and he's observing me. He's standing on top of a wooden platform by the building that's unlike any other in the village. His eyes are keen. The left one is dark, the right one is grey, bright. His head and face are shaved, and his simple undyed robe is in even worse shape than the outfits of his tribesfolk. Once Helvius realizes what you're looking at, he lowers his weapon and clears his throat like a boy caught red-handed. The elder walks away, holding a walking stick with one hand and touching a wall with the other. Orintius, says the mayor, the priest of our fellowship and the one who saved our people. He raises his hand, pointing at the dead shells bustling about the construction site. Is Asterion around? Ah, why would he be? You pay attention to his confident stance and strong voice with its usual hint of disdain and spot no sign of a lie. He's hardly ever been here. I've no need of wardens. I look at the undead workers. They don't bother you. I used to listen to stories about them as a kid. He nods for you to follow him. But Orintius taught me they're no different than boars and fire. He dashes forward and swings his poleaxe, bashing a skeleton's shoulder. The arm sinks to the mud while its owner, a bit awkwardly now, keeps trying to climb up a ladder. Helvius bursts into laughter and the locals look away without a word. See? He continues, leading you back to the well. All you need is control. Look there. He points at a dead shell with remains of flesh on its chest and head. There's a white and brown sparrow sitting on its shoulder, preening its feathers. Even beasts know they haven't got anything to worry about. The awoken now are like they were yesterday, like they were in spring, like they were a year ago. Leave worrying about them to idiots and unites. I hear what you say about the awoken, but your tribe used to be strong without them. So what, Warden? What was 10 years ago isn't, and what isn't doesn't matter. We need to trade, yet the others push us away. We won't let them choose for us ever again. You say you know nothing about Asterion, but people claim he had strong ties with your tribe. Helvius begins swinging his axe left and right, the heel of a haft now resting in the mud. Trying to recall the past, he makes a puzzled frown. You know what? I was told he met with our warlock often. Who knows why? Ask him if you must. The people of Old Pagos are fighting a plague. Ach! He looks at the dark clouds and sighs. Who? Kids? Elders? While you speak, the nearby villagers stop their work, and even the undead are told to freeze in place, offering your ears a bit of relief. You answer a lot of questions, making the muddy square even more grim. You hear someone weeping and a young woman announcing, It's not fair, even for them. The mayor nods in agreement, keeping the axe on his shoulders. I'll tell Orintius. From now on we'll gather our wood chips and twigs in a shed. He raises his voice, looking into his tribe's eyes. We may have enough of them before winter. I'd like to learn more about White Marshes. Don't bother, both for us and yourself. The tribe's been taming the bogs for 5 generations, but the fields... He moves towards the gate, as if you had no opportunity to see them before. From a few seasons ago, thanks to Orintius. We used to live on berries and meat, selling peat and timber, but soon we'll need no outsiders. After all these years of feeding our blood to saurians, leeches, and merchants, better days are coming. We made them come, and we deserve them. He fondly wipes his blade with his thumb and clears his throat. If the right allows. So you want to separate yourself from the other settlements. The tribes with little iron and bones struggle more and more. We're getting ready to welcome plunderers the way they deserve, is all. Our palisade wasn't enough. All this, he waves at the wall and his voice is full of pride, was built in not even 2 years, can you believe? You glance at a yellowish skeleton that carries 2 large rocks, each too large for any human to lift on their own. I'd like to speak with Oryntius. I don't fucking know why. I mean, I don't have any reason to speak to him. As he straightens up, the moose head on his chest bounces enthusiastically. You and many others, but he's swamped by his work, and we've enough threats in the shadows already. If he decides you're trustworthy, he may speak with you once. But why would I even ask him? Yeah, that's right, I don't actually have a reason. Do I know anything about him? Priest living in White Marshes, leader of the local Fellowship of the Right, known for necromantic practices. He's the real leader of White Marshes, and it's possible he kidnaps people from the woods. So I guess appeal to him by seeming like I'm religious or something, maybe? Because, I mean, this is silly. They're just gonna be like, no, F you, we like our way of life. This is kind of frivolous. They're probably gonna be like, he's a busy person. I'm not just gonna let you meet him just because you feel like it. Needing its guidance, they'd probably be like, I don't care. Like, I feel like playing to religion maybe would make the most sense. Even though he does not care. Not the first time he's pretended to be religious, I think. I want to hear Right's will. Well, you're at the right place, but at the wrong time. One day, all provinces of the land will learn what was revealed to the prophet. He spreads his arm, holding the poleaxe like a staff. Right away, to the villages, to the city. You will all hear Right's words soon enough. Shall we trade? We need what we have, but I'll look at what you're bringing if you seek bones. He glances at an undead. I don't have anything. Ooh. Yeah, because I don't freaking have anything to use these for. Oh, man. Yeah, I really need to see if there's a room I can rent for the night. Actually, if there's not a room I can rent for the night, then I might as well just die, because there's nowhere I can get to at this point. I asked the gods if there's a room. Well, I could talk to these people first. I address the gods. I'm sure they don't care. You notice that all the flies land either on the locals or on you or your palfrey. They avoid the awoken shells without exception. I address the gods. People from the other tribes are looking for spouses. The taller gatekeeper gives you a long look. We need no matchmaker here. Our youth's work to do. Only then they're free to go wherever they want. After you ask if the village is open to invite new dwellers, he snorts. You think they're going to move to the village of the dead? A good joke. I observe the undead workers. Not being allowed to leave the main square, you observe the shells walking through the gate or helping the builders at the wall. The skeletons are not at all complete. Some of them lack a rib, a foot, or a jaw. Many of their bones are cracked or broken, and seem to be connected to each other with nothing at all. As if the pneuma that keeps them moving knows which parts should stay firm and which ones should twist or bend. Those that kept some of their skin and guts don't smell, rot, or bleed, and make you think of dried meat. It's as if these scraps of flesh serve no purpose, and seeing how many of these labourers already have great holes in their stomachs, or limbs with revealed bones, it could be that they are just in the middle of the process of becoming like their naked counterparts. The undead loyally fulfill their tasks. So far, you've counted 5 people able to give them orders. Some do so by speaking out loud, while one woman simply looks at a shell, no matter how far it is. The workers, while witless, maintain some sort of carefulness in their actions. They stop when someone gets in their way, and use tools if they know how, avoiding pointless harm to their shells. There may be more than 50 creatures spread across and around the village, but you can't know how many you haven't seen yet. Many of the fresher undead are elders. Among the skeletons, you spot that some of them used to belong to children, but none to infants. Maybe such young shells are difficult, even for the locals. Maybe they're so different from adult humans they can't be awoken. I mean, I would think this is probably because, like, what is is a baby gonna lift a brick? You know, like, they're probably too weak. So I don't like the last part. Like, they're not dumb, they're just babies. I wouldn't be, insulting and callous towards them, it's just that they probably are not strong enough to lift up bricks, you know? So maybe something like this. Even though that's not true, I don't think. Maybe they're so different from adult humans that they can't be awoken. One of the undead workers drops a basket of foraged cranberries and leaves. Maybe because its shell is too weak, or maybe because it received a poorly phrased order. It then stays still, waiting for further instructions. I ask the guards there's a room I could rent for the night. I guess. One of them sighs and tells you to wait where you're standing. After a few minutes, a group of locals approaches a more neglected turf house and starts to empty it. They take out old crates, rags, casks, bricks, leave them by the outer wall, at least for now. It's an old shed, explains the guard. There you won't bother anyone. It'll be ready before you need it. I approach the well. The locals observe your hands carefully while you're drawing the water. After you quench your thirst, you try to wash your face and neck, but one of the older women approaches you quickly, wagging her finger. We haven't got enough for this silliness, she rebukes you. Water your horse if you have to, but we need the rest for ourselves. The stern gaze of the other villagers leaves you no room for discussion. I didn't mean to. I thought you know how usually when you approach a well you get to look at it and you get other dialogue options and stuff? I thought I would have like options. I thought I would open a menu. I didn't know I was just gonna walk straight up and start shoving my face in it. Oof! I mean, there's nothing else I can really do, right? I mean... Ah, I clicked sleep by accident. I meant to go back out to the window. Oh well. The shivers wake you up and you open the door slightly, letting the dense fog in. There are hardly any lights outside and you don't even see the village's wall. The locals gather their awoken workers on the roads, and while a few of them meet your eyes, the others refuse to acknowledge your gaze. Fogs tend to get more common in late summer, but the tribes of the Dragonwoods often see them as a bad sign. The wild spirits they carry are believed to impact both the visible and the invisible, and not in ways that help humankind. I sigh, lay sigh. If there are any undead in these woods, the fog will strengthen them. A persistent shouting voice wakes you up. Weak moonbeams squeeze through the smoke holes, but to have a proper look around, you open the door. There are flickering torches at the main gate, accompanied by solemn prayer and timid shouts. You put on your cloak and boots and leave the shed. Few of the locals, dressed in their regular worn and muddy clothes, surround a large group of the undead. Touching their half-rotten limbs, revealed rib cages, and motionless heads. A hooded woman sonorously, singingly begs for Right's guidance and protection, but you don't pay much attention to her words. The man known as Arentius is standing beside the gathering, with a revealed torso and a walking stick beneath his shoulder. Every now and then he cuts his sides or his back, and fills a wooden bowl slightly. Then a follower steps closer, puts 2 fingers inside the liquid and takes it to one of the awoken creations. The lights dance around them, casting shadows that you could swear hide cruel spirits. You don't know how long you've been observing the ritual when the scar-covered man turns toward you. His innocent, sad eyes carry no judgment or reprimand. Yet you suddenly notice how cold your calves and neck are. Autumn is surely getting closer. You wade through the mud. Why can't I say something neutral? What has happened to them? They feel justified in this. I mean, maybe is this kind of neutral? Because this isn't necessarily saying that Thistle is judging them. He's just saying, like, oh, if those guys hear about this, they're gonna judge these guys. In his mind, he doesn't really, like, care. Like, he's very live and let live type of person. Like, the thing about kidnapping people from the woods, now that could be a concern. If this guy kidnaps innocent people and like murders them or something, like then that would be, you know, he would be like, oh yeah, that's wrong. Not very good to do that, to kidnap and to murder, you know? Like raising the undead, I mean they're dead anyway. And it seems to be showing that they don't really have like thoughts, or it's kind of like AI. It seems like robots, magically controlled robot people are programmed to do something and they just do it and they don't really feel anything or have any of their own. Now, if it's shown that they do feel stuff, or that the undead do have their own thoughts, then that's not good, because that's, like, slavery. But if it is, as it's implied, that they actually are functioning basically just like machines, it'd be no different than, like, forcing a computer to do math for you, or, like, making a robot that lifts bricks up. Even though they were once living beings, they're obviously not now, and they have no soul inside of them or whatever. So he wouldn't really think that that's like a bad thing. He'd be again, if there is some sort of indication later that actually they do have their own wills or something, they're being like enslaved by magic, then sure, that's not a good thing. But if all is as it seems, and there are no tricks under the surface, he doesn't really care. Like, it's a little weird to see the goriness, the grossness of the flesh and stuff, but otherwise he doesn't have like a moral problem with it. In the blood stuff, it's like, I don't know, if somebody wants to cut themselves and pour all their blood into a bowl, then, you know, if it's not hurting anyone, who cares? If he's forcing other people to cut themselves and put their blood into a bowl, or like maybe not forcing but like coercing consent or something, tricking people into a scam, some sort of multi-level marketing scheme, but in a fantasy village or whatever, like then yeah, sure, that's wrong. But if it's just like, yeah, we have zombie robots working for us and sometimes I like to stand in front of a group of people and cut myself, then it's like, alright, I mean, sure, it's not my business. As long as you're not hurting anyone, coercing anyone, kidnapping, doing slavery or anything, then, like, carry on, dude. So he's not concerned. He's not like, oh my god, what's wrong with them? He's just kind of like, not my business. He doesn't think they're beyond redemption. He thinks... He doesn't think. He doesn't have thoughts. He doesn't care. Just another day traveling to him. Yep, the old Blood Bowl thing. As I've seen many times before. As I've read in my studies. Because, you know, he's a scholar. He probably has seen a lot and also read about a lot. And, like, you know, been exposed to various rituals and types of belief and ways of thinking or whatever. So he's not, like, as phased. If he comes across something weird, he's not like, oh my god, what are they doing? He's like, oh yeah, this is kind of like that thing that I read about. I guess I'm between this and this. This seems kind of neutral, and this also seems kind of neutral, because he's just commenting like, uh-oh, if these dudes hear about it, it's gonna be a problem. But he's not necessarily making a judgment himself, is he? Because I don't want to imply he agrees with the United Church. But then this is also silly, because they're not going to make him stay. They don't even want him here. I don't know, just, this seems like the most neutral thing, I'll just say that. Hope they'll let me leave this place. Even though the village seems to be on its legs, most shells you spot are dead, just as occupied as they were during the night. Alright. I think I've been recording long enough. I didn't really do anything. All I did was reach this place. I mean, I think for the most part, maybe I should do like a day per video, unless one of the days is like particularly short. Otherwise, it seems to take me about like, an hour and a half, 2 hours-ish, usually to go through like a whole day. On most days. Usually when I cut that recording down, it ends up being about an hour-long video, so once I cut out all of my coughing, clearing my throat, sniffling, all of my problems, the cat knocking my microphone over, like, if I record something for 4 hours, it'll probably only be 2 hours of footage. It's really... And it's not like I'm cutting out a lot, it's just that I get up a lot and cough a lot and... I can't sit still for like 5 minutes, so I'm always moving, and then I have to cut out the squeaking chair and stuff like that. Anyway, yeah, so that, I mean, I didn't do much, but I did find this place that was so hard to do, apparently. So I was getting very confused with the directions. So hey, I learned about this. White Marshes suffered from bandit attacks. Now I just have to get to Gale Rocks and Creeks. I don't know where those places are. I think next time, I should just make this a loop. I should just keep going this way and I'll probably eventually meet up with this. Because it said the days are getting shorter, just go ahead and do this type of stuff. So I do have a place to sleep here now, so if I expand back this way, I can make it back to here by the end of the night. And it's free, so it does suck up my resources. I'm just worried about how it says the days are getting shorter. I don't want to, like, not give myself enough time to do all this big exploring over here. Whereas, like, these places that I've already kind of gone, they're shorter paths. Anyway, yes, I think that's the plan. Sorry if I have been very low energy the whole time or something. I kind of have a headache. And my throat has been crazy. I mean, that's part of why I know that live streaming is, like, more of a big thing than, like, making pre-edited videos. Like, everybody just wants to live stream and everybody just wants to watch streamers and stuff. Nobody cares about videos like this. But, like, I could never do that. Unless they have invented some sort of software that, like, cuts out coughs and sniffles in real time. Like, clear my throat 75 times a minute. Like, I'm constantly having to cut dialogue in the middle of it because I cough. And I'm not sick. I mean, I hope I'm not sick. I knock on wood or whatever. I hope I'm not actually sick. But kind of, I just have like a chronic sniffly, like, I'm sort of, which is weird because, like, I've never been diagnosed with seasonal allergies. Like, I don't feel like I have seasonal allergies, but I have some sort of, maybe I do have seasonal allergies. Maybe I have chronic allergies that are going all the time that always make me sound sniffly and coughy. Today was particularly worse. I noticed, like, as I'm talking, it's like, as I'm talking, my nose is getting stuffier somehow, like as if my voice is pushing the mucus back up into my nose or something. The audio for the video is probably going to be very choppy because I'm going to have to cut out, you know, in a 30-second clip, I've probably cut it 5 times because I have to take all my sniffling out. Could you imagine, like, like being live and like not being able to cut that out. Like people would just be like, even though the village seems to be on its last hold on guys seems to be on its last legs. Hold on guys, let me put in a cough drop. All right. Most shells you like and subscribe, follow my wait, you don't like and subscribe, what do you do on live streams? Send in a donation. You know, like, it would be fucking terrible. It would be so bad. I know it's harder, but I edit the videos for everyone's sanity. Otherwise, it would just be the worst listening experience whatsoever. Not that it's great now, but, like, trust me, it can get a lot worse. Anyway, yeah, I'm kind of headachy. My throat was weird today. Hopefully my throat won't be as weird next time. I'm gonna go this way, maybe. Yeah, alright. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Goodbye.